What's up, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of the NCAA Hoops Hour. I am the big man on campus. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. You can call me Jeff. You can call me the BMOC, whatever you want. We are here with you live on a Thursday, January 30th, 2020. We've had some consecutive days here doing a show. It's nice to get after it. Nice to talk with all of you and try to find some value on this card. Now, obviously on Thursday, you have a lot of your mid-major stuff, a lot of your NECs, your Conference USA, your West Coast Conference, your Pac-12, your Atlantic Sun, your Big South. So a lot of kind of low major college hoops today, which we'll get into a little bit. There are certain conferences I don't really cap a whole lot of, like the Sun Belt, but I got some games here that I'm definitely kind of eyeing here that are interesting to chat about. I have one play tonight on the premium card, coming off a winner last night with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They lay the 2 and get the job done. So that was nice. Good winner there. If you want to join that party, you can join us at bmocwins.com. So we'll wait for some people to join the show, and we'll get after it. Weekend is coming. We get the Super Bowl coming up. Definitely a really tough game from a side perspective. I know for me, the Chiefs leave off kind of that LSU vibe where, like, I think a lot of people are going to bet against them and they're just going to be the best team, and they've been the best team. But I don't know. Something tells me that the Niners match up really well. I trust Robert Salah. So we'll look more and more over the weekend, and maybe we could find a side there. But to me, you can make money in the props market, not necessarily in the game itself. So, yeah, that's that. All right, let's get into some games here. As always, if you have a game you want to ask about or get a thought about, please feel free to get it on the chat box. Now, if I don't address your comment, I've either already talked about it or I've already talked about it. It's pretty simple. A couple thoughts here. Minnesota, Illinois. That's kind of one of the bigger games tonight. Illinois laying 5.5 here at the State Farm Arena. And I've talked before, I think that's one of the better home court advantages in the country. That's a really tough place to go and play. It's a big building. The kids are kind of right there on you, and they've had a great atmosphere. They played really well, Illinois. They've won 6 in a row, and they look like a surefire NCAA tournament team and a team that maybe can do some damage. Brad Underwood seems to have this group playing at a really high level. They're going on the road and winning games. They're the one team in this conference that's went on the road and won. You look at 3 straight wins on the road. I mean, they beat Michigan, they beat Purdue, they beat Wisconsin. They've also went on the road to Grand Canyon. I know the Lopes aren't very good, but that's a tough atmosphere to go play in. So this team has done some really good things. Remember, they lost that game by 1 point to Maryland on the road. So they've had some games that they've looked really good in. As far as this game, though, I'm not betting it, but something tells me Minnesota hangs around in this game. I think it's a lot of points. I think these two teams are pretty even as far as if the way I'm looking at it. I don't necessarily think that they're 5 points difference personally. I think the number should be more around 3. I think if you can get 5.5, I think that's a decent play here. You look at some of the things that Minnesota obviously may lack here, and obviously, are they as good at the guard position as Illinois? I don't know. I mean, probably not, but I think Carr's a really good guard. I mean, personally, Kelsher can do some things. Peyton Willis as well. I mean, they're not going to have that star power like Dosunmu has, but I think they're really good players. And Marcus Carr's had a really solid season for them. I mean, he's dropping, 20 regularly. He's doing some good work for them. And it seems like when he doesn't play well, they don't play well. I mean, you look at the game against Michigan State, he had 11 points and they lost. You look at the game against Rutgers, he had 8 points. They lost. You look at the game against Michigan State, they had 11 points. He had 11 points. They lost. When he doesn't put up, your 20 a game, they likely will not win the game. So it's important that he play at a high level. And I think if you're Illinois tonight, you have to, I think, The way I think you beat Minnesota is I think you have to kind of rain down from three. And that's something that Illinois can't. Illinois doesn't make a lot of threes. Now, again, what I've noticed with teams that struggle to shoot the three, they generally do it better at home. We saw with Texas Tech last night. They weren't a good three-point shooting team coming into the game, and they knocked down some threes. So, being at home just is a whole lot different. And, I feel like, again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I understand why you would take Illinois here. I just feel like it's going to be a fun battle down low with Oturu and with Coburn. You're really flipping on if Marcus Carr plays well. If Carr plays well and he could score 20 points, I think they're going to have a chance to cover this number. The problem that you have here is you're flipping a coin. He might not play well. As we know with Illinois, this is a really good half-court defense. So, it's a tough one. It definitely is. And, he may struggle against a guy like a Dosunmu. You look at the guards that they have. I mean, Dosunmu's 6'5". I mean, he can tower over Carr. So it's a tough matchup here. I think it's a game that is played at a pretty deliberate level. And I could see definitely an under in this game. You're not going to get neither of these teams sharp shoots from three. That's for damn sure. So, I want to see what the total is here. I want to say it's, let me see here. 134 seems about where it should be. I think this is probably a first to 65 wins. But the problem with unders anymore in college basketball is like you're really flipping on is the ref going to be a fucking hero and try to call. I mean, last night, that Texas Tech game, 73 foul shots. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's embarrassing as a conference. What's up, everybody on the chat? I have nothing on Gulfstream. I'm not betting horses at this moment. Thanks for watching, Jonesy, Matt, Mike. Thanks for everything. Thanks for watching. If you have a comment, you can leave it on the chat for sure. So yeah, it's a tough game, man. It's really interesting. Again, you're really, I think, banking on either Carr plays well or doesn't, because when he doesn't play well, they don't necessarily win. So, and it's a road game, so it's a tough one. Illinois is actually up to 6 now, so I don't know. I mean, it's starting to get a little high for my liking personally, but I could see cases made for both sides here. All right, let's get into some other matchups here. Western Kentucky's playing some good basketball. The Hilltoppers, they're headed on the road down to Florida Atlantic. They came off a couple of nice road wins recently. They've won 5 in a row overall. And, you look at the nice performance over the weekend against Marshall, 91 points. They had 6 players in double figures. Rick Stansbury's group's starting to find some success here. And the concern I have right now with FAU, they're really struggling to score the basketball. You look at last 5 games, they've only clipped 70 one time. And this is a team in West Kentucky that's starting to find success after Charles Basie went out. Obviously getting through that was tough, but you look at all of a sudden, you've won 5 in a row. You're hanging right there at 7-1 in the conference. You're looking really good. And a lot of it has to do with the guard play. I mean, Tevion Hollingsworth, Cameron Justice, who just came back from injury. Savage has played well for them. They're not a big team, but they find ways to just attack you, guard play, get to the foul line. They convert at the foul line, 78%, one of the best teams in the country. Those are the kind of teams you want to play with. I will say, obviously, this spot's interesting because, Marshall's coming off kind of a weird run of games where they played Marshall 2 straight games, which is weird. You don't normally see that much, but I feel like for me, I don't love what FAU's been doing right now, and I like kind of the good times that we're seeing out of West Kentucky. Everybody's healthy now outside of Basie, and they're starting to put some together. Now, Saturday's game is going to be tough. FIU doesn't lose at home very often, but I think if you're going to get one of these out of the 2, I would say it's this one. So I think this could be worth a look here. But again, anytime you're laying points in conference, just know what you're doing. Couple comments here. Texas Tech just had a flop. Yeah, well, it had nothing to do with flopping. It was refs that had way too much interest in the game being about them as opposed to the players. Northeastern, William and Mary. That's a total coin flip. Two really good CAA teams. You won't have me giving you a side on that one. Thanks. What's my best college basketball pick? Well, again, as I said before, if you want my best college basketball picks, you're gonna have to come to the website. Again, guys, I gotta make some money out of what I do. I can't just sit here for free every day and give you the keys to the kingdom. I gotta do what I gotta do. I'll gladly give you a free pick. A game that was close, but didn't necessarily make my card. But again, I've kind of said this time and time again. If things are free, like to be real honest with you, like I think free picks are great and all, but when you're someone like me who kind of this is what I do, I feel like I work hard. I mean, I give you a lot of info, and I just have a service that I've worked hard to create, and it's just kind of where I'm at with it. So, as far as like what's my best pick, I mean, I don't really have one. The best pick that I have is it was sent out hours ago. So, this is an interesting one. Small school, Charleston Southern, Winthrop. Charleston Southern's playing some good basketball right now down in that conference. They've won 4 in a row. They've covered 4 in a row, and now they get Winthrop coming in. They're getting 7 at home here. This is a spot for Winthrop where it seems like everything has come up rosy for that group, but I got to tell you, this is a tough game. This is a step-up barometer type of game for the Charleston Southern Buccaneers, and I think this is a good spot for them. Offenses look good. They're averaging 81 over the last 4 games, and this should be a fast-tempoed game. You should see some points in this one. Winthrop really 3-point dependent. They're going to jack up a lot of threes. Charleston Southern, this could be a really good spot for them to show what they're kind of hitting for in that conference. Winthrop's the big boy down there, but this is a road game for Winthrop. You're laying 3+ possessions here. Winthrop hasn't lost for a while. They haven't lost since December 14th. I'm not saying they're going to go on the road and lose here, but you're stepping up here, and when they've stepped up in competition, Winthrop struggled. They struggled against Gardner-Webb in 3 overtimes. They had to kind of scrap and claw to get by Radford as well. This is a good basketball team for Charleston Southern. They're playing really well right now. As I said, winning 4 in a row and covering those 4 in a row. Fleming's playing real well for them. They've been able to kind of get by without Deontrell Schuler. I kind of like this spot for Charleston Southern. That's an interesting one. Any thoughts on Maryland, Illinois? No, I don't have any thoughts on that game. Something missing from Maryland. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I hate Mark Turgeon. So, yeah, I don't have much on that one. I was playing well right now also. But it's that home road dichotomy in the Big Ten. Robert Morris. This is an interesting game in the NEC. And if you have a game, feel free to mention it to me. I'll try to get to it here. Bryant and Robert Morris. Robert Morris plays just a really tough brand of defense. That's one thing that group really does. They just get after you on the defensive end. It's tough to go there and win games. And, Bryant has showed this year they can play some really good defense as well. I think this is a knockdown, drag-out affair. I think Bryant really gets after it. I think they find a way to get some stops here tonight. I think this is a low possession game. Both these teams, particularly Robert Morris, play at a kind of slower level. They're going to make you play at their pace in their building. So this one's kind of an interesting one. But, a game that I was close on, it was good. It wasn't the best play on the board, but I think it's pretty good. I think Liberty first half, if you can find it, I think it's worth the shot here tonight. Liberty's at home against Kennesaw State. If you know anything about Kennesaw, they're the worst statistical offense in the country. In fact, they're historically bad. 14 times this year they've scored under 60 points. They're a bad, bad, bad offensive team. And you have a Liberty team that's been really good in the first half this season. They're winning their games at home. on average by 11 points in the first half. They really get out and kind of beat you up. And that's one thing in this conference that I've noticed. I know when Lipscomb last year was rolling through this conference, they were winning every game in the first half. And they were up by 17, 14, 19. They were always up big in the first half in their games. And again, you got a team in Kennesaw here that is really a bad basketball team. I don't know how they score in a game. I really don't. They got one win on the season. As I said, their efficiency numbers are absolutely laughable. I mean, the worst in the country. Turn it over on 20% of their possessions. They're basically losing games on average by 20 points. That's what they're doing here. They're giving up 76 a game. They foul a lot. They don't do anything well. And this is the opportunity for the best team in this conference who plays really good defense. You look at Liberty. They're allowing 54 points a game. I mean, I kind of have this at in the first half. It's kind of like one of those where they jump out, 31-15, something like that, 34-17. I think Liberty's up pretty handily here in the first half. You only got to lay 13.5 here. I know that seems like a lot in the first half, but this is a really wide discrepancy as far as teams here. I think the only kind of concern I guess I have in this game is, anytime you lay points in the first half above double digits, it's always kind of a questionable one. If any team's going to play well, it's generally in the first half. But Kennesaw is really bad. They are a really, really bad team. Would it surprise me if they're single-digited in the first half? No, not at all. Kennesaw is they're right there. It's like 5 worst teams in the country. You look at that game last time out against Jacksonville. Got beat by 19 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville stinks. The Northern Alabama game. The Northern Alabama game, they were down 47-23 at the half against Northern Alabama. Florida Gulf Coast, they were down. Against Florida Gulf Coast, folks, they were down 34-7 at the half. At the half. They were single-digited in that first half against Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast didn't do anything special. They're getting run by bad teams. NJIT, they were down 32-20. They were down 12 at the half and at home against NJIT. Let's look at some other ones here. Lipscomb. All right, they kind of hung around against Lipscomb. All right, Elon. They were down. They were actually up at the half against Elon, and then just got run in the second half. But, in conference, they've really struggled in the first half this season. So, take that for what it's worth. What's up, Josh? Any thoughts on Gonzaga? They beat Santa Clara the first time by 50. You've got to feel like the Santa Clara Broncos have something tonight, but they're only laying 17, so it's not impossible. Santa Clara's without their best big, which is hurt, Caruso. Without him, I think they're really going to struggle tonight. And you look at it in that first game, that was one of the first games they didn't have Caruso. And look, they gave up 104 points. They got absolutely destroyed in that game. You look at Petrushev at 18, Timmy Tilly had put this in perspective. Killian Tilly in that game, they had 104 points. Killian Tilly only had 9 points. Only played 20 minutes. And they still won 104-54. Santa Clara scored 0.70 points per possession. That's shockingly bad. They shot 3 for 25 from 3. They missed 10 free throws. Gonzaga shot 58% from 2, 38% from 3, and 88% from the foul line. They had 7 blocks, 11 steals, and 1.35 points per possession. So that's about as destructive as it gets. And when you lose by 50 in conference, that's pretty brutal. Obviously, they'll play better tonight, but Gonzaga's on another level in this conference, especially against teams like Pacific and Pepperdine and Santa Clara and Portland. So And one thing about Mark Few that I've always loved is his teams on the road have always been really prepared. I mean, they don't seemingly take nights off, which, I got to respect a whole hell of a lot. Any thoughts on Georgia State? Yeah, I don't play much of the Sun Belt. I don't have much on that one. But South Alabama is tough. I feel like that game's close. What else do we have tonight? If you have any other questions as well, feel free to ask whatever you want. Let me take a look here. A couple other ones. Colorado, UCLA. I like to back Colorado at home. UCLA seems to be coming on a little bit. And then they go out and lose and get – put this into perspective with UCLA. So, they give up 40 to Cal, 58 to Oregon State, and then they give up 96 to Oregon. Riddle me that. UCLA is a weird team, man. They're a weird, weird team. Any thoughts on Jacksonville, Florida Gulf Coast? Yeah, this chat's interesting because I've always asked people, certain guys will bring in and they'll be like, hey, what do you think of, Lafayette and Holy Cross? And it's just okay, so you have 60 games on the card. How do you get to that game? I often wonder that. Maybe, Jordan, you can answer that. How do you get to that game? Not saying that I don't understand. I understand value and everything, but it's both those teams are just really average, in that conference. There's nothing that I'm curious. I'm not calling you out. I'm curious. How did you get to that game? Because if I look at Jacksonville, Florida Gulf Coast, I see two of the most random teams. The line is off with the metric site. Yeah, I don't really play the metric sites, to be real honest with you. Metric sites don't mean anything. And I hate to say that. Ken Palm is good. He has a lot of good stats and stuff, but from a score projection standpoint, I would not put that into your handicapping. That's just my opinion. I got into those kind of things for a while. I totally hear you. There are definitely good resources, but I don't know. I don't think they're good things to follow personally. I need help trying to bet online. I'm working now and would like to play. Yeah, again, I'm not a bookie, man. So you're gonna have to help yourself, man. I gladly would recommend bet online, but I got no skin in helping you create. I'm good on that. No offense. I don't want to get into that realm. That's not I'm not a bookie. Not a bookie at all. I'm sure if you followed directions, you could figure it out yourself, brother. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to be obtuse, but Sports Cake makes a good point. I'm not trying to be rude at all, but it's help yourself. There's just, as he said, go to Google and just bet online. Very easy to use. Just create an account and put the money on, it's your job, I think. And I think that's important to anything you do. Do the research. It's what should I use? Uber or Lyft? I don't know. Go and look at both companies and see which one you like better. Do I drink Coke or Pepsi? I don't know. Look at the shit you like about those things and test them out. You got to do your research. Don't just blindly do something. And, I've had someone come to me before and was they complained to me that they got a book online and the book didn't pay them. They didn't know that they had to do certain things. And then they get pissed off at the book and say the book's a scam because they didn't pay me. And it's well, no, it clearly states any company that gives you free money to bet is going to want you to return that investment before they pay you out. I think some people just think that when you get a book, let's say you get a bet online, let's say, and you put $500 on and they give you 50% back. So you get $250 back. I think people just think, okay, I'm going to go bet my game and then remove the money. They're going to give me that all. That's not how it works. Like, they're not just going to give you free money and say, okay, well, thanks for making that one bet. You get the money back now. No, you have to reinvest a certain amount in the website before they give you back. And if you don't want the bonus, you can contact them and say, I do not want a bonus. And then you don't have any sort of stipulations on when you could take the money out. You know what I'm saying? So, just take the advice to learn about what you're doing and when you're doing it. And unfortunately, you live in New York City, so there's no legalized sports betting there. So you have to go through a different method to take care of your business. What else do we have tonight? Any other comments here? Anybody got a good lock for today? Yeah, we're not doing that, man. We don't do that on this show. Listen, let me save you some. Listen, Salah. Let me save you some headache, because I was you at one point. I was just getting into it and I was trying to find, stuff. Listen, take some time, put some time into what you're doing and find your own stuff. Don't depend on other people, because if you think that there's something called locks in this shit, you're crazy. Because I've been there. I've seen it all. There is nothing in this business that is a lock. I've seen all sorts of things that happen where you think something's a lock. Just take that word out of your vocabulary. The only lock there is on your front door. That's the only lock you should deal with. The only lock you should deal with is the lock you use to lock your bike up at night, or your motorcycle, or whatever the fuck you ride, That's the only lock. Let me give you another lock. A lock is, in about an hour, it's going to get dark outside. That's a lock. Another lock, I'm going to eat dinner tonight. That's a lock. When my girl comes here, I'm going to get it in. That's a lock. This water here, I'm going to drink it. That's a lock. This phone is black. That's a lock. I got one text. That's a lock. Those are what locks are. You feel me? Okay. A couple other comments here. Take a PATH train to Hoboken. You could do that too. You could set an account up and go to Jersey every day and make your bets. That's a good point, Jordan. Why did Double Vodka Don bail on the fight? He didn't bail on anything. See, that's where some of you stoolies, you put words into his mouth or my mouth or whatever. He didn't bail on anything. And I want to make sure if this gets back to him, he knows what I said. He did not bail on anything. I did not bail on anything. We took the perspective of a fight to Dave. Dave said, I would rather Big Men on Campus fight Stu Feiner. Big Men on Campus responded with, I won't want to fight Stu Feiner. I want to fight Ev. Dave decided he didn't want that. It was on radio. They talked about it. Dave said, I wanted Big Man to fight Stu. Big Man says he doesn't want to because he doesn't get anything out of fighting Stu. If he beats Stu, he's just beats an old guy up. And if he somehow would lose, it would just be, negative. So we didn't fight. It's not that Double Vodka Don didn't want to fight and I didn't want to fight. We had interest in both fighting. I would have signed on the dotted line. Dave knows that. Ev knows that. The whole company knows that. Again, Dave is the editor-in-chief. Dave's the guy that puts everything into motion. Dave's the guy. Dave decided he didn't want it. And that's his prerogative. It's his company. It's his business, which I have no problem with. But I was ready to go. And Ev knows that. The only lock is not to bet. Exactly. Great point, Keg. The only lock was Tennessee Titans over. That's a good point too, Brian. No, that was a good one for me. Thank you, Zizou. What are your percentage of bets that are pregame versus in-game? I don't bet in-game at all, really, to be honest. Double vodka Don, that's incorrect. I think a fight with him and I would have been great, and that would have moved the needle considerably, Lloyd. So I don't. That's not my job to decide who does that, but I thought a fight between him and I would have been great, personally. So, and I think a lot of people would have agreed. But here's what I'll say about fighting. I won't take it off the table. I'm not going to say it won't ever happen. Will it happen in Miami during Super Bowl weekend? No. And nobody from Barstool's fighting in Miami. Now, if Ev comes to me in February or March and says, hey, they have an event in Charleston, West Virginia, do you want to fight? I would do it. Listen, the thing about that fight, it's not about the fight to me. I don't have any issue with Ev. I want to fight because I think it would be a great experience. And I personally would like to do it. So, Ev doesn't like me anymore, which is weird because he used to. But he unfollowed me on Twitter. I don't know if that was a boss trying to move by him, but he doesn't like me anymore. He unfollowed me. He was supposed to be in my corner, but now I don't know. Unfortunately, Dave would rather see me fight than him. I don't know why that is. I don't work there. He does. But hey, I mean, this is what it is. But yeah, I mean, he knows anytime he wants to fight, we can fight, like in the ring. Again, I'm not, we can sanction it, But yeah, it was nothing Big Ev did. Big Ev wanted to fight, and that was the truth of the matter. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. No one should be betting NBA games pregame. Well, I do, and I do decent with it. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like an odd statement to make. It feels like the books are going to make a shit ton of money on Sunday. This game is a pure coin flip. All the value appears to be in props. Yeah, but this is why, listen, Sports Geek, this is why if you go to like Ocean Resort, this is why it's one of the most beautiful places on earth, and it smells like, heaven, because they make millions of dollars on sheep that want to go get slaughtered. That's how it works. Like, hey, I don't really like this game, but you know what? I kind of like Andy Reid, so I'm going to just bet on the Chiefs. If I'm a book, you know what I'm doing right now? Give me that food. That's what I'm saying. Yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, 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 yum. So if I'm a book, that's what I'm doing about the Super Bowl. Because ain't none of those people that are betting the Super Bowl just to bet are making any money. Yum, 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 yum. Am I going to watch the Jake Paul fight? No. Couldn't give a fuck about Jake Paul. I'm happy you do it. You do. Yep. Thanks, Mike. Listen, Mike. Mike is a nice guy. Mike, you don't have to keep telling me. I appreciate it, pal. Thank you. I will keep doing what I can do, man. Mike's in here every day with the same positivity. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Charleston hasn't covered shit lately. Yeah, I got to be honest, I've not been into the CAA like usual. Do I like the Gonzaga under? I'm not betting any unders involving Gonzaga, to be honest. And I think Santa Clara puts up a much better performance than they did the other night. They play Gonzaga. All right. What else do we have here? I mean, you can hear what you want on NBA, but there's only one way to bet the NBA. How about Waze rerouting people driving to Borgata to the Pine Barrens? Yeah, I heard about that. I'm not sure how that happens to you, but I mean, some people are just really stupid. All due respect to people that were rerouted to the Pine Barrens, but how the fuck does that happen? I don't care if you live in fucking Timbuktu, Wyoming. If you're in New Jersey, right, and it says Atlantic City, if I ask someone in the Maldives right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Atlantic City's by an ocean? 100 out of 100 people are going to say yes. Okay. Now, if you use Waze, because I've used Waze, there's a map. It shows you where you are and where the point of that place is. So why the fuck would you drive into the middle? If that happened to you, you're a complete imbecile. Like a complete imbecile. And now I'm very good with directions. You could tell me where something is and I'll get there. I have a photographic memory as to where things are. You know, you could, my own, like Philadelphia, you could ask me where any street is and I'll tell you where it is, what neighborhood it's in. But, you know, like if you just said, where's Morris Street? I'll tell you, well, there's one in South Philly and there's one in Germantown. You know, I'm good with that. But come on, man. I get if you're not good with directions, but you don't know where the fuck Atlantic City is. I mean, and you can't be from that far away. If you're driving to Atlantic City, the likelihood is you live in the mid-Atlantic or Northeast. And you should know that, hey, it's telling me to get off at so-and-so National Park. Maybe that's not the right way to go. Look for a tall building. Exactly. That would be another comment that you can discuss. What do I think about Pacific LMU? I don't think anything about it. I like Jaleel Tripp a lot, though. My thoughts on UTRGV. I don't have any thoughts on them. I don't think they're playing tonight either. I think they played last night. I like a money line parlay of Illinois, Maryland. Yeah, I don't like those kind of plays. Anything on Austin Peay? They've been very good against the number. Very good. Austin Peay is one of the best teams in the country against the spread. You got to get used to Matt Figure's team. That's a good basketball team down there. They've won, I want to say, 8 in a row, 7, 8 in a row, just off that win against Belmont last week. Had some time to kind of think about it and, you know, kind of move on. Edwardsville's as bad as it gets. They should roll here. Seems like a great number to lay. And they're good against the spread, so that's helpful. Have I ever been to Cleveland? No, I have not ever been to Cleveland. Kado Sayah. This guy Kado Sayah just asks people if they like games and he bets them. Dude, to waste money like that is fascinating to me. Some of you guys just, I don't know what it is. You just waste money. It's your money. What are you doing? Like if you, like I'm not, and again, I'm just trying to teach here, but it's like if you come on a chat, right? And like you'd say, okay, I like the Winnipeg Calgary over. Hey, so-and-so, random person, do you like this game? Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm in. It's like, I mean, I thought like maybe you'd be like kind of do some things another way. How have your premium plays been doing? I've been off Twitter. I won last night. You know, I'm kind of like 500 over the last 3-4 weeks. I had a winning week the week before last. I was 1 game down last week. So I'm basically even. Like that's pretty much where I am. On the season, I'm up like total since I started like 6 or 7 units. I will say one thing for anyone out there that's curious. I know a lot of you guys on here love all these conferences. What I'm going to do for the tournament and for the conference tournaments is on my website, I'm going to have something called a conference newsletter, conference tournament newsletter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a section that you can get on. And you're going to basically get a video preview for every single conference. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you the rundown on everything going on in the conference, where the games are, who's good, who's not, who can win the conference, who's going to play well. I'm going to have that. It's kind of like a guide. And then I'm going to do something as well for the tournament. It's going to be one price, probably going to be like $50. And it's a conference tournament primer. It's going to give you all 32 conferences, video previews on every single one. So $50, you get everything. And I think that's really fair. I mean, that's under $1 a conference. And for me, I have to be able to, if I'm going to do, like, that's a lot of work to do. 32 videos is a lot of videos. It's a lot of work that I'm putting in. So I'm going to see if I'm going to talk with my tech guy and see if we can definitely make that happen. And that could be something that we're going to get going here with. So, it's a good way for people that maybe don't want to pay for plays. They just kind of want breakdowns. They're going to be able to check those out. But again, I can't do them from, just I can't just sit here and do 32 videos for free. I got to do what I got to do. Will they say Colin Kaepernick during the Super Bowl broadcast? No, I actually talked about it yesterday. I don't think they do. I don't think there's any way. The Super Bowl is a family broadcast at the end of the day. It is about football. I don't think they go down that. There's no way to me they go down that road. Now, I guess that's a good point. I also maybe think, I don't know. Maybe they just reference his workout. I don't know. I think it's a wrong slope for them to go down. So I don't think they will. I think they're better options, personally. What like said yesterday, my favorite bet of the Super Bowl is, will they say Patriots? I mean, that's a lock. I mean, that is such a complete lock. I bet a max on that. Whatever you can bet on that, I'd bet it. Like, in fact that they're even offering it is fascinating to me. Now, I wanted to just quickly talk about this. Marcus Morris is in the news after his comments last night after the game. So basically, he basically was talking about Jay Crowder basically having woman-like tendencies on the court. Now, in the PC culture that we're in, you can't say anything nowadays without it being sexist or homophobic or racist or whatever. I just want to put some perspective as to what he said. And to anyone, he's not talking about, I think it's kind of an expression, personally. Like, he's just saying, like females generally have they're feminine. They're women. Like, women are feminine. I don't understand, like, why that's a knock. He basically saying that Jay Crowder plays feminine. Like, I don't understand what he said wrong. Like we have to wise up here. Like, he's not saying that if you're in the WNBA, you're any less of a person than nobody's saying that. Is it not fact, though, that women are feminine? Am I lying there? And if anyone wants to tell me I'm lying, tell me. I'll wait. Sure, no one will, but that's the point. Like, are they not feminine? Are women not feminine? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what he was saying. He's saying Jay Crowder plays like feminine. And by feminine, he meant like a woman. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong here, but is the women's game as physical as the men's game? Just being honest. No, it isn't. So, like, I mean, I don't understand. Like, what does he say wrong here? I don't get it. Like, it's fact that women are feminine, first of all. And it's fact also that the physical game of the NBA is more physical than the women. I mean, it's not wrong. There's not wrong about that. So if you're saying he's playing like a woman, he is not, he's playing, feminine. Now, I will say with him, I don't really get this connection of, like, how Crowder, like, is he basically insinuating that all women are like, because some women aren't really feminine. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I think some days we get a little too, like, everything's under the microscope. But I guess the best thing is to just not say anything. But all right. Let's wrap this thing up. You all have a great night. I appreciate you tuning in. As always, I appreciate everyone checking out the show. Yeah, that's that. So If you want to join me, you can find me on Twitter at JeffNadu, JFFNADU. You can also find me on my website at BMOCwins.com. We have a play for tonight, and I'm excited about it. I've been excited about this game for about 2 days, and I've been ready and excited and waiting for the line. So I got the best one, so I'm happy about that. So let's do it. Have a great night. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.